By as many as 21. Westphal. Oh!
Westbrook sees a seam. Crossover drives and throws it down.
Coast to coast and slams it.
Length, height, and wingspan are three things NBA scouts really take into account when taking a look at young prospects.
Yeah, understanding that Rondo's being asked to defend LeBron James.
Good defense by Pat, keeping Westbrook in front of him. He'll raise up for a three. Air ball!
Considering how well their body could adapt and adjust in matchups against bigger and stronger NBA competition when they finally make it to the league. More than often, the point guard is by far the shortest player on the team, but also the most skilled with the rock in his hands. The better dribbler and passer, and the guy called to use those abilities to set up teammates and run the team's offense. Now, obviously, that represents a huge disadvantage when it comes to posting up against bigger oppositions, as well as trying to contain taller players when they got caught in between screens and switches. Now, on top of that, most point guards aren't good rebounders either, so having a tall baller run the point is obviously a huge advantage and creates a lot of mismatches in favor of your team. But just a handful of players have been able to succeed running the point, being over 6'6". So today we're going to be talking about the top 10 best tall point guards in NBA history. Now, honorable mentions before we get started are Doc Rivers, Michael Richardson, Mike Carter-Williams, and Sean Livingston.
Down and finish away 3-on-2. Simmons eludes. Simmons working over.
Now, honorable mention for this year is Ben Simmons. Now, I know putting Ben Simmons on this list is pretty early and it's pretty bold to put on his list so far with all-time greats. But truth be told, the sky seems to be the limit for this man, and he looks to be a lot to win Rookie of the Year as well. He's having an outstanding career as one of the most skilled point forwards to ever play. Standing at 16, you just won't believe how much a terrific passer and playmaker Simmons can be, and already during his rookie season, as well as being a dominant scorer without having even a reliable jumper quite yet. Throughout his campaign, he's averaging around 16.3 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game, and averaging 7.7 dimes for the 76ers.
3-point Boston lead. So that was a big basket by Westphal. Kept his team headed. Westphal knocks away. Here on behind Charlie Scott. Here's Paul back down the other way. Paul Westphal puts it in. And the basket down to the floor and through the foul.
Now, coming in number 10, we have Paul Westphal. Paul Westphal was a 6'4" combo guard that could easily work as the team's primary ball handler, play off the ball as a deadly shooter, and even come off to be a great defensive backcourt stopper in the very next possession. Sharing the backcourt with Boston's JoJo White for several seasons en route to an NBA championship. Averaging 15.6 points per game, just under 2 rebounds per game, and 4.4 assists, to go along with 1.3 steals per contest. Westphal is mostly remembered by his Phoenix Suns stint, where he led the team to the finals with his prolific scoring. He will also play at Seattle, New York, making it to 5 All-Star games as well.
At one guard, 6'6" from Miami of Ohio, number 4, Ron Harper.
Coming in at number 9, we have Ron Harper. Now, Ron Harper spent most of his career playing as a shooting guard, but he thrived the most when given the ability to run the point as a 6'6" playmaker. But he's most remembered for his ability to dominate opposing guards and the defensive end of the floor. Now, Harper played a key role in the 3 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls and perhaps the greatest and most effective triangle offensive point guard ever. Later on, he would replicate that success with the Lakers, winning a couple of extra rings before retiring. Over his career, he went on averaging just about 14 points per game, almost 4 dimes per game, and 1.7 steals per game. Now, coming in number 8, we have John Wall. John Wall is 6'4", is one of the best point guards in the league and probably the fastest player in the NBA. He never played in the Eastern Conference Finals, but with 18.9 points, 9.2 steals, 4.4 rebounds, and 1.7 steals per game, he deserves to be on the list as one of the best, tallest point guards in NBA history. We'll see how many seasons he plays with the Washington Wizards because he needs a better front court, and he would be even better if he had a player like DeMarcus Cousins and Anthony Davis in the starting lineup.
Played in front of him, got the steal. Now to Hardaway, slams it in.
Coming in number 7, we have Penny Hardaway. Now, Penny Hardaway spent most of his minutes running the point, and he was also quite effective off the ball as a 2 guard or even as a small forward. Standing at 6'7" and being the perfect complement player to Shaquille O'Neal during his Orlando Magic tenure. Sadly, injury took over a major role of his career and he was never able to achieve the potential he always could. But he was still one of the most prolific scorers of his era, playing from Orlando, Phoenix, New York, Miami, and he also made his way to 4 All-Stars and 2 All-NBA squads, posting career averages of 15.2 points, 4.5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.6 steals per night.
On the steal, Boozy back to Davis. Knocked away by Johnson, and Sigma runs it down.
What a tremendous play by Dennis Johnson.
Now coming at number 6, we have Dennis Johnson. Standing at 6'4", people just don't talk about Dennis Johnson enough. One of the most skilled two-way guards in NBA history, a guy that never backed down from a challenge and was always hitting big shots when it mattered the most. Johnson played for the Supersonics and he played for the Suns, but it was with the Boston Celtics where he found the most success and established himself as a terrific defensive force for years, averaging 14.1 points per game, 3.9 rebounds per game, 5 assists, 1.3 steals, and almost 1 block per game. Johnson made his way to 3 rings, 1 Finals MVP, 5 All-Stars, 9 All-Defensive squads, 6 first teams, and 3 second teams.
Payton with the hesitation move and hook it all the way.
Oh, just a little raise up, fake handoff to Wingate, and then put on the afterburner to just.
Now coming at number 5, we have Gary Payton. Now if we're talking about great two-way tall guards, you just can't leave out the glove. A 6'4" defensive specialist that could always light it up at will or either take the game into his own hands or set up his teammates with ease. Payton was the ultimate leading scorer with the Sonics' greatest years, as well as playing for the Bucks, Lakers, and Heat, where he was able to finally win a championship. Throughout his career, Gary Payton averaged 16.3 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, 6.7 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. And he's one of the few guards that have won Defensive Player of the Year. Also, he had made to 9 All-Star appearances and 9 All-Defensive teams.
They give it to it his first chance. And 2 for 2, Walt Frazier of Southern Illinois.
Coming in number 4, we have Walt Frazier. Now, Walt Frazier is the 4th player on this list, and thanks to his career averages 18.9 points, 5.9 boards, 1.9 steals, 6 assists per game, and a 2-time NBA champion, a 7-time All-Star, and a 7-time All-Defensive First Squad as well. Playing for the Knicks and the Cavs, he's mostly remembered for his New York Knicks tenure, where he almost single-handedly led the team to a couple of O'Brien trophies up to this date. He's still an all-time franchise leader in dimes, and he was the most dominant point guard in both ends of the floor during his prime in the Big Apple.
Here's Anthony against Martin. And Scalabrine knocked it away. Kidd feeds. Scalabrine behind the back.
At number 3, we have Jason Kidd. Now, what can't be said about Jason Kidd that hasn't already been said before? Kidd is by far one of the most NBA's most iconic point guards ever. A vocal leader, a great playmaker, a clutch performer, and a terrific rebounder for his size as a defensive stopper, like a few players has ever seen in this league.
His 9th All-Star game. The only player to have been named most valuable player in this game twice. The number 2 scorer in the NBA at 6'5", 220 pounds, from the Cincinnati Royals, Oscar Robertson.
Now at number 2, we have Oscar Robertson. Obviously, you can't really leave out Big O on this list. Oscar Robertson has always played as the tallest guy among Giants despite being just 6'5", playing for the Cincinnati Royals and the Milwaukee Bucks. Robertson was the first player to ever average a triple-double for a full season, way before Russell Westbrook did last season. This triple-double machine was able to lead the Bucks to a championship alongside Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, posting career averages of 25.7 points, 7.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists, and 1.1 steals per game. Also making it 12 All-Stars and winning 1 MVP award.
Magic Johnson, who leads the league in assists, his scoring average up about 8 points. Beautiful feed to Worthy.
Now at number 1, this really shouldn't be a shock to anybody, but at number 1 we have Magic Johnson. He is considered by most the best point guard in the history of the game because of how impactful he was on both ends of the floor, as well as how gifted and skilled he was as a 6'8" point guard that was constantly getting mismatches and could play and guard all 5 spots on the floor with great ease. Now, Magic Johnson was perhaps the most impressive passer in the history of the game, as well as a dominant scorer and solid defender with a huge wingspan. And he posted career averages of 19.5 points per game, 7.2 rebounds per game, 1.9 steals, 11.2 assists per game, and being the league's all-time leading scorer in assists per game. Also, he won 3 MVPs, 5 rings, and made it to a dozen All-Star games. So, appreciate you guys for watching my video today. Make sure to leave a comment down below. If I missed anything, make sure to leave a like down below. If you want to see me cover any other topic in the NBA, make sure to leave that down below in the comment section. And thank you for watching NBA Daily.